Hail, 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 I'm ProAceJOKER, and welcome to the Insane Asylum. Today, and the next few days following, we are going to be making a guide to the Halo Infinite campaign on Legendary difficulty. Hopefully in kind of the spirit of our good pal Nak3d Eli. I realized I didn't really make any intro to any of the videos because I decided to split them up. It might have been one long 4-hour video, but now it's split up into each individual level. So you're going to get a little bit of this to begin with, but let's just hop into it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Today we are starting out with Mission 1, Mr. Warship Garbage Crater. Let's get into it. Alrighty, here we go. We are going to be doing some legendary guides. I don't know if Halo Infinite needs it. I have seen that only 0.3% of everyone who's played Halo Infinite has beat it on legendary, which is crazy, which means even less for LASO. So, I thought I'd make these guides. A lot of people will argue that this is probably one of the easiest games on legendary. I personally think it's potentially the hardest and the easiest game at the same time. Halo Infinite going open world allows for a lot of opportunity for you to do things to make the game easier for yourself. But also just the way that the game is and the damage amount and stuff like that is relatively difficult. It's one of the games that you can get rocked by enemies a lot harder and a lot quicker than other Halos. So, I wanted to make a guide for the people who are interested and who need it. And we're going to do this. Now, I'm going to say that specifically speaking, we are not going to be doing, we're not going to be doing any major glitches, so I'll save those for speedrun videos. Yes, this game is broken as hell. You can skip entire levels. There's a lot of crazy stuff in this. I'm not going to be doing that. This is a guide for people who want to play the game, experience it, who might just be struggling a little bit on certain parts. You know, I think it is, in particular, there are certain sections of this game that are very, very difficult, specifically like some of the boss battles and things like that. So we're gonna get into this. I will also say that one major thing is I will not be using the glitch gun or Easter egg gun called the tank gun. I will show it off when we get to the third mission. So if you're wanting to know what that is, you can go to that. But if if you're past that point, it's irrelevant anyways. But I will not be using those. I will tell you, if you want to make legendary and when I do LASO guides, I'll say the same thing. When you want to make it super, super simple, just get that weapon. Literally will solve everything for you. So that's if you want to just do it the super, super easy way. And I'll show it off once we get there. But I think I'm not sure if I'm going to upload this as one giant video that you'll be able to watch whenever you want. Kind of come back, it'll be like 4 hours long or something. Or we do individual missions. I'm kind of leaning towards individual missions. That way people can pick and choose what they're looking for. This is interesting. So I'll tell you that this is kind of a weird thing. Hopefully you know how to look up and down. So hopefully I don't need to explain anything there. But I'm gonna show you specifically the most important thing in this run. The reason being is the weapons, right? Like, where are weapons? What weapons are you looking for? Stuff like that. It's gonna be interesting because there's gonna be certain things I'm gonna do in the open world that you might need to do. And if you're past the point where you can't access the open world anymore and you just have to stay on the main mission line, then you won't have access to that. So I'll do my best to try and I'll still tell you what you're going to need, but we'll go through. So to start this off, what you're going to actually want to do is you want to run over to this side here. This claw. So if you come from where you spawn on the left side, there's going to be claw. That claw, inside the dumpster, has a battle rifle. And if you need, you can always ping down on the D-pad or whatever your ping is for mouse and keyboard. And it should mark it. But there is a BR right in that garbage right there, so... And if you don't get it, if you don't run over there quick enough, it just the claw puts it down right there. So you can just grab it there. I am doing this live on Twitch, by the way, so just know that I might talk to chat for a second and stuff like that. I'll do, it's going to be a guide, so I'm going to be sticking to it, so. This next area, you only need to kill 3 enemies. So I would take out the guy up top, one down there, and that one, and then you can kind of come through. And again, we're going to speed through some sections. If you need, just kill the enemies, problem solved. But we are just going to kind of speed through some sections because we don't need to show everything. We don't need to kill everything. There's going to be a lot of stuff we skip, even on the Legendary Guide, but it's not going to be speedrun. Don't forget to refill your ammo because your BR doesn't have a lot of ammo. So, but I'll do my best. I won't, you know, I'm not going to speedrun every single area, but just know that with the grapple hook, you'll be able to kind of... This is kind of interesting, is like you'll be able to kind of speed through a lot of areas. You don't have to kill that many enemies. So I will show a few glitches. There are a few skips we are going to use because they're very simple. You don't need to do any crazy out of the map stuff or anything like that. They're all pretty basic and simple for anyone can do it, especially this first mission. So I guess my word of advice, as I said, this is a weird game to kind of do a guide for because there's so much stuff you can do. There's so many different ways to approach every scenario that this is my personal, I think, the ideal way and the easiest way to do a lot of stuff. But yeah, so if you saw, I picked up a mangler. I didn't even mention I picked up a mangler earlier. You don't need it. You got the BR. You take your fusion coil, toss it in, and then you can just kind of slap the enemies as you're done. You will want this pulse carbine, which you can't when the elevator is moving up, so just wait till you're at the top. So you stay down. No magical floating brute.
Then there's still hope.
But this is gonna be kind of that first skip. Hopefully these are in the grounds and spirit of Nak3d Eli here. George is doing great, by the way. I still talk to him on the occasion, so you don't need to kill any enemies there. You can just skip by. I would suggest if you're on Legendary, I am playing on Legendary, right? I would kill out all these enemies here. Again, I'm gonna make it as easy as I can for people, so don't be afraid to hide. Take your time. Again, Legendary, if you take your time, this game is pretty easy. And that's the biggest thing, is on Legendary, just take your time. Now, one thing you could do is normally you're supposed to go that way, but the doors are actually bugged where you can kind of open the doors anytime you want. So if you melee this door a few times, it opens up, and it does that. Whoops. You kind of get behind the door, it opens it, and then you can just walk through, and it spawns. Now, the interesting thing here is that we've actually just skipped the entire inside area. So if you've seen this mission or you know what you're doing, we just kind of missed an entire cutscene and fighting a bunch of enemies and a bunch of extra rooms. We do need to trigger the correct load zones, so we do need to come all the way here. There is a BR up here if you need more ammo, or if you just didn't get the one earlier. That's one we actually use for speedrunning. But once you get right about here, it's going to spawn all the enemies and start up. So we just skipped the entire control room, I guess. And we are now on the escape sequence of this mission. So makes it nice and easy. Don't have to do much. And yeah, that's kind of like, as I said, we'll have a few skips in here because any skip that is literally anyone can do. You don't need to have any, you don't need to be good at the game. You don't need to have any experience. You don't need to be like speedrunning. You can just run right through, and that'll skip through. And again, this is for the people who are just trying to beat the game. If you're looking for all the story stuff and everything like that, just know that, you know, take your time. That's my biggest thing. Now, you're going to see, I'm going to tell you right now, the ideal weapons for the entire run is the battle rifle, commander rifle as a backup, and then pulse carbine and sentinel beam. We're going to pretty much stick to those weapons the entire time. So just beware, you're going to see a lot of those, and that's what it's going to be. Because those are the best weapons for boss fights, and BRs are just good for everything else. Anything with shields, pulse carbine, any brutes or other things, also the sentinel beam is really good. So now to do this area, there are multiple ways you can go. My suggestion is once you get around here, you can just jump down and then grapple over down below. It sometimes makes you can go over that way and stuff like that, but you can just jump down and just make your way across all of the beams here. So you're gonna see a lot of grapple sliding, by the way, which all that is when you grapple, as soon as you hit, if you're sprinting, you grapple, you can actually hit the slide button, and it will do exactly that. It will slide just like this. And you'll actually move really quickly. And you'll see a lot of that, because that will be used to skip a lot of areas, to get through a lot of sections that we just don't have to do, right? Yes, it's a legendary guide, but once again, we're not trying to show story. We're not trying to do, here's how you approach every single fight. A lot of these are going to be just getting through the sections, and how do we get through the sections in an efficient way where we fight, make it as easy as we possibly can for us, right? We don't want to struggle by skipping enemies. We don't want an area where it's really hard, like you have to be super precise. But we also don't need to fight enemies we don't need to fight, so. But that's the first mission. That's it. I mean, it's a really, really short mission. I know I kind of just did an exposition about how this guide is going to go. But the first mission on Legendary, you don't have to fight that many enemies, and it's pretty easy. So hopefully that's good enough. We'll get to slightly more complicated. Honestly, some of the hardest stuff is right at the beginning of the game, because after this, you can get tank done and make it super, super easy. But as I said, these will be guides not using any major glitches. We'll use minor glitches like just beating a door open, skip entire sections. So,
welcome back, Chief. Okay, let's get out.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the first mission, and we'll be on to the second one. As I said, I'm gonna kind of do these. I don't know if I'll do these all in one or just individual missions. So I'm gonna kind of do a part intro on every single one. But that's mission 1. You're done. There's 14 missions, by the way.